Hello and welcome back to Stranded D, welcome back to the map editor, and welcome back to this island we are making. We are on the PC version of the game, the Steam version of the game. So if you're joining us at this intermediate stage, the controls, as ever, are W to go forward, S to go back, A to go left, D to go right, Q to go down, E to go up. You push and hold the right mouse button, that pans everything round. But wait, there's more, there's always more. If we get an item out of the toolbox and tap R, that rotates. T transforms, C clones, delete, deletes, and if you have something selected and press F, that focuses. Something smaller focuses closer. Did we move that accidentally? I can never tell. But if we get rid of the airplane, there are a few other things you need to know. And it's always worth going over them at the beginning of the episode because some people might be new and some people might have taken a break between episodes and need to be refreshed. There is no undo. There is no undo in the map editor. If you make a big old mistake, the best thing to do is just quit without saving and then come back again. That's the best thing you can do. Save off and just in case that happens. But these three brushes, the smooth height, the set height, and the raise and lower height, share the size. The size is obvious because it'll give you this big old blue brush. But what's not so obvious is the amount slider. If you have it cranked all the way up and you're smoothing the island around all the sand and things, well, that's great. But then you go, oh, I'm going to raise and lower. You click when it's raises selected. The amount slider is inherited between all of the brushes. You click now, you're going to put a spike all the way to Jupiter. Yep, it will be all the way up into space. You might be able to salvage the map after that, but you might just need to exit and reload. Is there anything else? Well, since we're going through weirdness in the map editor, yes. The camera doesn't have constant velocity, and the closer you get to an object or stacked objects, the more the camera slows down, so you end up with something that looks like lag. The game's not lagging. It's just behaving, I mean, that's how it's supposed to behave. It's just behaving weirdly. Anyway, let's get wood. Or more specifically, let's delete these trees. Wait, what? Why would you do that? Because I want to add something here and I need to get rid of these trees, but some people have complained about these pine trees not being very, desert island. They're called Cook pines, as in Captain Cook, and they are indeed something that exists in the Pacific. You get 15 of them. You will need to use them to make a forest, especially on a map this size, because you've got some weirdness going on in the background. These triangles and things that appear in the background. That is what happens when a geometric object, an object that we've pulled out of the toolbox, turns into a sprite. But some of the sprites are a bit weird. The geometry on them is huge and kind of floats up in space, especially since we've got a giant shipwreck over there somewhere. The best way to avoid this in-game is to put a load of trees and stuff in between the player and the weirdness in the background, so the player goes, ooh, what lovely trees, and doesn't notice all the weird stuff that's going on over there. Forests are your friend. But not this one. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to delete you. I'm going to delete you, and you also get deleted. But why? Oh, my friends. I'm going to get an aeroplane. I'm going to play with an aeroplane. Why would you do that? Because airplanes are cool. Why would I not? Anyway, I want an airplane wreck on the island. Traditionally, or typically, the way we've done this in the past is to slap the airplane up in some trees, which is fine. But not here. Why would you not do that here? That's an excellent question, and I'm glad you asked. Please don't ask those questions. No, you can ask them. Yes, it's fine. You know, you're cool. But the other guy, weird. Anyway, yeah, no, we're putting the aeroplane in the ground with the wings partially buried for a good reason. It's a huge wreck. It's a huge wreck. And so putting it in the sand is going to help reduce its profile and not block this side of the island. The reason we don't want it to be blocked is because we want the player to be able to run backwards and forwards along here, but we also want this to be an interesting wreck. We don't necessarily need it to, I mean, I'm kind of keeping an eye on where these rocks and things are. I'd rather the wings poke into the dirt than the rock, but I want part of it overhanging the water. And the reason I want that is because the player wants to be able to jump off of that into the water. That's fine. It's going to have some treasure on board. The tail is buried very much firmly in the sand. The reason for that is because it reduces its profile, and now you can just jump over this bit between the tail and the fuselage. Not a problem. Also, the inside of the fuselage should be relatively undisturbed. You can come through and then jump off of there. Like I said, the camera is just weird. It will do that. But wait, there's more. Yes, now we've got the aeroplane in. The only other thing I need to check is the rocks. I don't really want the rocks clipped into the wing because that just looks unnatural. Dirt and sand, yes, but everything else, no. That's fine. Is there enough stuff supporting it? Well, yeah, maybe. We can go to terrain and we can hit set height, read terrain paint height, and read it from the water underneath. Left click on the ground. Doot. That sets the target value. The amount slider is cranked all the way up because we are a gremlin. We didn't turn that down. And then what I'm going to do is just push this back a little bit. I can see the sand moving. You probably can't. I can crank the amount slider up to get a little bit more speed on this. And that's fine. Now, what we can then do is hit smooth height, crank that up, crank the size up. We're using the soft round brush. And then paint under here and smooth everything off. Why would we paint away and then smooth back? Because that gives us a much gentler shelving beach underneath the aeroplane, rather than the very steep angle that we had before, which was like here. So I want this smoothed out, knowing that there is a bug on the PC version of the game, which means no matter how much we smooth, we end up with weird geometry. Everything's going to be very triangular when we're done with it. But I want this here, and I want this here on this side of the island for one very good reason. It adds something for the player to come and explore on this side of the island, which at the moment we've kind of ignored. But also, if I put it over this side of the island, we've already got like a little building. We've got the tower, the rock spire for people to climb up and have a look. We've got wrecks. We've got radar towers. We've got a bunch of stuff. We just don't have anything over here. So this just adds a little bit of curiosity, something for the player to come and have a look at. But wait, there's more. Yeah, the wingtip on this thing actually raises up a little bit. So if we want this here, that's fine. We can have that. Or we can bury it. Raise the ground up, the amount slider I'm going to pull the way down, and then I'm just going to use a soft round brush to pull that up over the top and bury it. Why would we do that? That's an excellent question. To reduce the profile of the wreck. It's a giant wreck. It's an interesting wreck, but now it's a much smaller profile wreck. It's still all there. It's still all under the dirt, but it's no longer having such an effect on this side of the island. So we've got something that's now interesting. It's buried in the beach. It's telling a story. What we can do now is start working on the rest of the terrain. Now, we could, at this point, start putting trees in. That might be a good idea. Let's do that. Let's have a look and see what's going on with these cooked pines. So we go to trees. And we find pine tree. Pine tree 1, which is not so big. Pine tree 2, which is bigger. And pine tree 3, which is a ginormous? No. It's even smaller again. Why did they change the height? Why is it 1... No, it's 312, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. It's a quirk of the game. So what you're going to want it to do is, or what I want to do, is put all the small pine trees higher up and the big pine trees lower down. And that way you get a more even forest. Ready? Yeah. Yeah. Pine tree 2. Yeah, pine tree 2 is weird. Why would it be the big... Why would it be the big pine tree? And the small one be 3? Mate. If you can answer these questions and more, then, well, you got a better idea than me. Anyway, we're going to put some in and just see what it looks like. That might be a bit too big, but let's see. The idea is what we do is we end up popping these around. We've only got 5 of these to play with, and we need to put them down into the terrain. I'm going to put them into holes in, like natural holes in the cliff edges. And so we got 3, and I think here feels good. What I'm doing is I'm looking for patterns and trying to see if there are any patterns that we are repeating. I don't want to repeat any patterns, like have any pattern repeat, obviously, obvious like visual patterns. By which I mean, if I put down 5 trees, then if I put them in a line, the player goes, oh, that's a line of trees and that looks unnatural. That is a pattern. So I'm trying to put them in random positions. Also, we now have a rock selected, which we didn't before. That's just because the game does that. So I might put one over here. We've got a big old crack in the ground. What I don't want to do is put something that encourages the player to walk over to it and explore it. And putting that here is fine, but that might end up... I need something over here, definitely. So what I'm looking at is the shadow of the tree, and it goes over this hole. That could be a problem. Could be a problem. If I put it here, less of a problem. Okay, cool. Drop that down into the cliff. Okay, good. I think I'll move that a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think we're going to avoid getting shadow in there. Right, okay, so we have some trees. How do they look? It's fine. It's fine. You're not convinced. I think this one needs to come over a bit because we've got a straight line here, and that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about patterns. Move it down so the trunk is actually in the ground. Yeah, I think from the top we kind of have like a quincunx thing going. And what's that? That's the pattern of the 5 on a 6-sided dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of like that, but not quite. Anyway, we've got some trees over the top. Neat. Anyway, terrain, objects. Now we're going to do pine tree 2. Well, I'm going to do pine tree 1. Oh, really? Yeah. Now we have 5 again. What we can do is put one... I'm thinking maybe one... As soon as we let go of this, we'll get the toggle controls, and I don't really want those to initiate just yet. I think I'll put one in that little dent there, just to fill the dent. One here maybe? Yeah, that might do. Just looking for good natural places for it to exist. Here feels good, sort of around here. And then down into the dirt. And that is 2 of the intermediates. Now what we can do is do another couple over this side and then see how we feel. So one here and then one over here. Okay, so now we have some trees in. Doesn't really look very foresty. Can we get another one? Yeah, we get another one. Another one here. And pop that down there. Okay, cool. Max limit reached, max limit reached. We now have 10 trees in. And it's beginning to look a little bit more like a forest. Ah, neat. Which means we have pine tree 2. The biggest pine tree is now what we have left. I'm thinking we put them on this side. What we can do is angle them. But we'll just have a few over here. Maybe one here. I'm legitimately wondering if we put them further out so the shadow doesn't fall on the aeroplane, but I don't think it's going to matter too much, you know? I don't think it's going to matter too much. 3 is quite a nice number to have anything in an area. We can give it a little spin, select them and give it a little spin, just so that they don't all look like they've been pulled out of the toolbox. I don't know what's selected there. You think you've got a tree selected, and then you haven't. Give that a little spin. Okay, nice. And then we've got 2 over here. I'll just spin one of them. Because it's pulled out of the toolbox, they actually... Oh, jeez, that camera. They have a definite pattern to the leaves. Can I even select anything there? Give it a little spin. Yep. And then can I select that one? I give it a little cautious turn. Yep. Just to make sure I have the right things selected. And then spin that. Cool. Just give them random spins. Neat. So we should have, what, 1 tree left? Oh, okay, yeah. If I let go, yeah, that's definitely 1 tree. Alright. Get rid of you. Where do we want to put the tree? Well, we can. Did I just delete the tree and it not refund the difference? Ah. I think it did. Yeah, the little text on the image didn't change. I'm wondering if we put it over here somewhere. Yeah, maybe, or we can put it over here. Curious and more curious. We just got to find a good place for it that feels natural. So moving these things around is good. I think, yeah, maybe there. The reason I'm dragging them into the ground, and I'll go and look at this one. If you put it up, you get this big old hole underneath. So putting it into the ground is very, very important. And you can put them quite far into the ground. Don't worry about that. And then give that a little spin. Just rando spin. There we go. Done. Right. We're going to have to fill in the difference with ficus trees. We're not going to be able to get away with that. Because we now have 15 trees over the island. Which means as you're running along, let's have objects selected, as you're running along, you've got all of this woods, all of these woods now over the top. And it looks, on the ground, much more interesting. Like, we stand here, it's like, whoa, we've got an actual forest. And then we've got some woods that way. Sight lines are still pretty much open. We've got this here, which now looks, I mean, it's beginning to look supernatural, super interesting. And we've got the height as well. These not being as high as those trees over there. So as we move away, yeah, we've got a fairly straight line when it comes to the cook pines. Oh, you planned that? Yeah, no, that's a genuine way of planning that. Neato. Now I'm kind of enamored with things like the Rockies or images of the Rockies. I really do like that kind of aesthetic, which is you got boulders and rocks and things just poking out of the ground. So why don't we grab some small rocks and do that? Oh, really? Yeah. Is it an actual thing? I genuinely do not know. I've never been to the Rockies. I probably never will. Not because I don't want to, but because it's just a long way away and kind of expensive to get to the US of A. But we can do this. A little rock sort of poking out the ground. We need it out a significant amount, mostly because the ground's going to have texture on it. But looking at this, it's also quite steep. Oh no, that's a problem. Okay, well, we'll grab a small brush, have the amount all the way down, have raise and lower, and we're going to raise this area up, because this area is not good. Change the amount size up a little bit more, and then really just brush that out, just roughly. We'll smooth it back in a second, that'll be good. That'll be great, that'll be fine. Absolutely wonderful. Wunderbar, that's much better. We don't need to smooth it that much, but let's do it. Like, having it a little bit chonky, a little bit rough is not a terrible thing. There we go. Much better. And that rock suddenly makes a little bit more sense. You can guide people up these little paths, and since we have rock underneath this pathway, this being here doesn't look out of place. Neat. So we just add little small rocks, just chunk them into the ground here and there, just to add a little bit of texture. And I'll put that way. But since we're doing that, the other thing we can do with these small rocks is go back to Object, close that up, hit Trees, hit things like an allocation, and just slap it next to the rock. Why? Well, it's as if a seed has blown in, got itself stuck next to the rock itself, and camera, and grown in the crevasse between the rock and the dirt itself. And we can put the leaves over the rock, so you still get the texture of the brown, which will have, for most people, the sort of dry grass texture. You have the green, and then you have the grey. So you have 3 different colours there, natural colours, but you got 3 different colours there. We really want people to take these paths and not try and climb up over here. We can't stop them, and we're not going to stop them, but we can make it a little less convenient by adding things like that. Speaking of which, let's do something similar here. An aloe vera, just here. Why would we do that? I don't mind giving people things like medical plants and lots of them. The reason I don't mind doing that is because once they're picked, they're gone, and unless you're doing a lot of farming, then whatever. But keeping with that Rocky Mountain way, kind of looks cool. Terrain objects, so we don't have anything selected. We still have this area here, and we still have this area here. We could stand to make this a little deeper. That's fine. The way we're going to check, we're going to check something here. The way we're going to check the shadows to see what's going on is we can change the time of day. Right, so the shadows in the trees now actually go in front of this, which is not so bad. First thing in the morning, it all lights up. So for half of the day, yeah, you're going to have some trees. So towards the evening, okay, that's closest to the evening. That's not so bad. Knowing where the shadows are going to be and where the shadows are going to fall is kind of important. You don't want to make a map and then everything be super dark. This is interesting. Let's see if this affects anything. We've got this pool of light, which we deliberately put in. Changes the time of day. Yeah, it does kind of get masked. Oh, and then it opens up later in the day. So about midday it opens up. Yeah, it's not really that affected by the tree. It's open there. Tree shadow goes across it and then it opens up again. Okay, cool. So we haven't accidentally ruined our little cliff skylight by putting a tree here. Neat. I'm kind of happy with the way these came out. But yeah, just try to avoid patterns. Make sure the trees are spun because they got this weird curve to them, like up and down. And if you just pull them out of the toolbox and don't give them a little spin, don't drop them into the dirt, it just looks like you've pulled the same model out of the toolbox 15 times. It's not great. Let's go over here then, and now the time of day is this. What we're going to do is just put our face underwater and realize that it's actually very shallow here. Too shallow, I think. What we could do is come here and see what's going on here. Okay, let's read terrain paint type from there. And then with the amount slider where it is, let's just push this down a little bit around the aeroplane and through here. Okay, then we're going to have a very small amount slider and then hit lower and just push and hold, push and hold, push and hold. We can't really see what's going on. Let's undisplay the ocean. Push and hold. Oh no, we got selected. Don't worry about it. There we go. And just to make this a little bit less even and flat underneath. Will it be noticeable? I mean, we notice it, so we're important. The player, maybe, not so much. Push and hold, push and hold, push and hold. Okay, cool. We can turn the water back on, and now that should be safe enough to jump into. So if a player stands on here and goes, huh, sploosh, yeah, that should be deep enough. That's one of the things you'll have to test. Players will jump off things, especially aeroplanes. They will absolutely do that. Is that wheel in the ground? It is not. This is something that few people will actually notice. We notice it. We can see it right here. Let's change the mount slider all the way down. Let's hit raise. Have the mount slider down, size down. Let's just raise up some dirt around this wheel. Is it something that is absolutely not going to be noticed by anyone? Maybe, I don't know, but smooth that off, size up a little bit more, and then smooth that back. Cool. So the wheel is actually on the terrain. Cool. Yeah. I notice it. It's not necessary, but if something is just hovering without all of its point of contacts. I mean, the tail is buried in the ground and so is a wing, so technically the rest of the airplane could hang in space and that would be absolutely fine. But it's something that someone might have a little look at. Speaking of having a look at, we could just biff the whole thing up and just slap some plants under there. That would be interesting, like a big old cocoa bush. Why would we do that? Because it just adds a bit more texture to something that's already there, and it keeps the design language that we have going, that where there's an object, it adds a little bit of shelter for any seeds that are growing, and that creates that allows plant life to form. I'm going to make sure it's kind of fairly below the wing because we know this thing might be bigger once we're in the game. Again, it's something to test, but by having that there, it just means that having this up here looks kind of looks fine. And yeah, you can jump off the nose if you want to. Good, excellent. Woods, forests, trees. Can we see the forest for the trees? Well, yes, we can. Hopefully, now we're here, all of the stuff in the background is going to start being obscured, but we're going to need to obscure it even more. We're going to need to put more trees and things in. What do we do with that? Oh, we grab some rocks. Oh, yeah, and slap some rocks in here. A little bit of a turn. And then drop that down. Big rock as well. Boop, boop. That's just, that's thinking music. Boop, boop is the thinking music? Yeah, why not? Now you might be saying, hey, you got these terrain brushes. All of these things along here, you got the round soft brush, you got the round hard brush, you got the square soft, you got the square hard, you got the Petri dish, you got the Captain Crunch, you got the other Petri dish, you got the explosion. Why do we need all of these? The answer is we don't. Soft round or hard round is the way to go. But wait, there's more. Yeah, this bit of beach is very flat, like surprisingly flat. So if we hit raise, we can just kind of hold the left mouse button down and raise the land kind of in here just a little bit, just unevenly. That's nice. That's nice. Good. Just want the sand there, but I just wanted it to be a little bit different. Anyway, let's drop this down into the sand. Sand has no texture that it is aware of, but we can do this. Okay, cool. So grab some rocks. I think these are a little bit... Okay, I think we're going to need to play with the rotation of these. And the transform... About that. Okay, cool. Terrain objects. We hit terrain, we want raise, and we want to raise this up in this little V notch of rocks that we got going on. So we're using these rocks as a little bit of a boundary. Smooth that off. Neat. You know exactly what's gonna follow. We got this area here with a hole in the wing. The player is going to be gravitating towards that hole, which is fine. But why don't we throw in a tree? Ficus? Yeah, of course we're going to throw in a ficus. Where is ficus? It's under F and F. Ficus tree 2. The one with the branch. It is the one with the branch. Cool. Rotate it around so you get the branch. Look back. And neat. Oh, we pressed F. We pressed F. Yeah, we pressed F and then focused into a tree. That was fun. Was it? No, of course not. Anyway, that's kind of neat. Now, is that the branch that we want, or do we want this one? That is a real good question. I think this one. Grab the tree again. Grab the tree again. As soon as we let go, it just grabs another object. Okay, cool. So as you're running along here, that forms a frame with the hole and the sand. Neat. Okay, cool. Let's grab some other. We don't need the palms just yet. We actually haven't added much in the way of fruit, but we want some of these ones at the top, the ceremons and things. Yeah, there we go. Nice, big, bushy. Nice big bushy beard. There we go. Good. That's actually fine. Weirdly, as it snaps to something else. Alright, neat. Can we throw a Narn in there? Yeah, we can. Why didn't you destroy the entire Narn homeworld while you're at it? What? It's Babylon 5. It's probably the greatest sci-fi ever written because they wrote all 5 seasons before filming it. And then they used some of the storyline for Deep Space Nine. Did they? Yeah. Yeah, Babylon 5 is absolutely fantastic. Acacia. Oh, terrain objects, so we don't have anything selected. And then ooh, that is huge. It is. Let's use the smaller Acacia. Yeah, just there. Detransform, pull it down, give it a little rotate. And make sure things aren't too badly clipping in. That has selected something else. Let's move that up a little bit. It doesn't matter so much if it's clipped into the sand. Sand moves. It's soft and irritates and gets everywhere. What? Okay, cool. So I've got this lovely little collection of plants, which adds a little frame, and it's just another little vignette. And what we could do is add on the back side over here, because there's nothing here now, another rock. So we'll go to objects, grab another small rock, small rock 2. Are you okay? You gonna do what we need you to do? I think so. And then maybe small rock 1. Yep, there you go. And then back to trees, and then we can add a little salmon 2 with a little flower on it. Neat. We've got nothing selected, and we can add. We could probably add another Narn. A banana plant. How brave. How yeah, okay, terrain objects. But wait, there's more. So we've added another little pathway through there. It did. Yeah, we did. Just with these plants. Oh. That was easy. Yep. So what we've got are these pathways. One here with a branch, which then takes you to the walkway, the little nature walk. Wait, what? That's all planned all along? Yeah. I mean, we're putting the island together piecemeal, but we now have some more trees over here, which also block all the weirdness that's going on over there in terms of geometry. And then we have our pine forest, which goes up and over the top of what was just kind of a weird archway, but the archway is now blended into the island. The archway is less of an archway unless you look at it from the front. Oh, but from the side, it just looks like some Rocky Mountain Pass. It looks way more natural than having just a load of bare Cliff 6 pieces. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for the time being. It's beginning to look a lot more interesting until you fully zoom out and it just looks like ass. But if you like this video, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you want notifications, dingle the bingle. If you don't want notifications, don't click the bell, and I'll tell you what, I'll catch you next time.